Georgia, where you at?
I was waiting for you to let me know you're ready for me.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Good afternoon. It is Thursday, our weekly radio show. This is Georgia F. Allen coming to you, bringing you greetings. GA for Justice every week at 12 noon. And we want to welcome you, as always, to our weekly community conversation for information, our conversation for correction, and our conversation for transformation. We want to, of course, thank our producer, our owner, our engineer, Mr. Henderson Vaughn, for an opportunity to share information on various topics at the best of the 757 WVDM radio show here in Hampton Roads. And this week, we're going to continue our focus on the seventh principle of Kwanzaa, which is faith. Okay. And the African name is Imani. Imani, or faith, is the profound belief in and commitment to all that is of value to us as a family, as a community, as a people, and as a culture. And of course, most of these various principles for Kwanzaa have more than one definition. And a lot of times, the one that you hear a lot is to believe with all of our heart in our people and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. And this is critically important. Um, we do plan on having a guest today. However, as you know, in radio, television, or what have you, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be flexible. And so, in the event that something should happen, technology should happen, or a guest is not able to connect, or a guest is not able to attend, then we still need to make this show go on, which is exactly what I do week after week after week. Is I try to make sure that you continue to receive a message with regards to the principles that we have, that we stand on. And of course, as someone who has a strong faith background, of course, many of you have heard my father was a pastor here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, all the way down in Princess Anne County, where I grew up. And unfortunately, he passed away 3 days before I turned 5 years old. But my mom remarried to, guess what? Another minister. So my whole entire life was drilled with biblical principles that more or less parallel a lot of the Kwanzaa principles. So, with that being said, when I take a look at my faith and I take a look at the Kwanzaa principle of faith, Imani, and I recognize the importance of us having values, I try to encourage those of you who are listening, those of you who are able to listen now. Some of you are only able to listen later because we do come on at 12 noon. So many of you are at work and you cannot listen to the show while it is live, but you can always press the button and listen later on. So, regarding our values, I believe, and that's why I have focused on Kwanzaa, I believe it is critically important that we as a people recognize that we're much stronger together than we are divided. And it's so important because many of us own businesses. As a matter of fact, the young lady that I was spoke with and looked to have on our show today, she's also a business owner. But being a business owner, we do have to recognize that we must have some faith. We cannot expect that everything is going to always go as planned. With that being said, my topic for today is burdens, balance, and breakthrough. Anybody out here, regardless of whether you own a business, whether it's in your workplace, whether you are a minister, whether you run a large organization, you will find that you're going to have burdens. And I always like to use the same three letters. Use If I use the word B, I always try to find three words that begin with the letter B. So I can simply say challenge versus burden. It basically means the same thing. If we are business owners, if we run a radio show, if we run organization, which I've done that before, we will find challenges or we will have burdens. And those things we have to learn how to overcome our burdens or our challenges. And so the reason why I wanted to use that as a topic today is most of us can relate to situations, obstacles, and challenges that come to us within our family. And where do we go to? In most instances, we reach back to a five-letter word called faith. Our faith is what we have to give us that strength to push through, to pull ourselves up, to walk through, to travel down that road that may not be so easy, but is doable. It may not be a road that doesn't have any rocks on it. So we must kick them out of the way. And those are the same things that have to happen when we're dealing in society today. We have to have that faith. We have to have that ability when we have those challenges, when we walk on those rocks. We shouldn't keep walking on those rocks. We either need to step to the side and get on that sidewalk, or we need to kick those rocks out of our way and move forward. And I'm a firm believer in how critical it is to ensure that we train our children up in a manner that will strengthen them, not weaken them. And so, as we look at the faith principle, as we look at burdens, as we look at balance, and as we look at breakthroughs, we want to make sure that we hold on to that principle, but that we use that principle to build upon all of those principles that came before the one that we're sharing with you today. Because, of course, with Kwanzaa, there's 7 principles. There's not just one principle. There are 7 principles of Kwanzaa that was put together in order to hopefully allow us to become stronger. Because for so long, we've only received information that has primarily been negative. We've received information, whether it's in our school, as we're growing up. We grow up and we go to a schoolhouse, and the schoolhouse does exactly what it was designed to do. And that is to teach us misinformation. That is to provide us with information that is not necessarily engaging. It's not necessarily information that's going to be inspiring. It's not necessarily information to us that's being encouraging. A lot of the information that we receive as young people tend to be troubling. It tends to be information that is very concerning. It's concerning to the individual child, but it's also concerning to the parents. And then our parents take a look at its leadership, and often the leadership doesn't look like them. And so they're not comfortable having that conversation with these leaders who are engaging our children in negative ways. So faith for me is having the ability to push back, to challenge, to dare, to defy this system that has been put in place that has not been valuable to us. And so last week, I think I spoke with people and I asked you, how do you value yourself? Do you value yourself based upon what you wear? Is that how you value yourself? Because Kwanzaa tells us that Imani is faith. It is the profound belief in and commitment to all that is of value to us as a family, as a community, as a people, and as a culture. So if we only value clothing, or if we only value cars, then we're not really committed to the family the way that we need to be. And so I hope that as I speak with you week after week and continue to push foundational principles, standards, traditions, that it will have an impact, that you will take it into your family, into your community, and make some necessary changes to bring about for us a more togetherness. For so long, we found ourselves in a situation where we were first totally separated, pushed aside, left out, left back. And now we're in a society where we're sort of assimilating, associating. But while we're doing that, we're still pushed back, left out, left behind. And you say, well, why do you say that, Georgia? Think about the number of businesses that start every single year or every single month, where one community can go to the bank, can have a high school education, can barely have enough money to put food on the table. And the bank says, all right, I'll give you that money. I'll give you that loan. Then you have this other group, couple from another community, college degree, master's degree, PhD, makes 5, 6, 7 figure income. And then they go to the bank, and one bank after another says, no, I can't give you a loan. Well, once again, we're still in a similar circumstances, just different outcomes. The new outcome is, yes, you can go in the front door of the bank. Yes, you can sit down with the loan officer. Yes, you can, in some instances, talk to the bank president at that local bank, perhaps. Yes, you can do those things. But why aren't the outcomes a lot different? Or why are the outcomes very similar as they were before you were able to go into the bank, before you were able to talk to the loan officer, before you were able to sit down with the bank officers? So I say to you, it is critically important that we get back to group economics. It's critical. It is important. It is necessary if we're going to bring about a significant change in what is taking place in our community. The next thing is, how do we balance all of this? We're being challenged on every hand. We have burdens coming at us from different places. We're sitting here waiting for our next big opportunity. How do we balance all of this? We have family, we have our church, we have our organizations, we have our friends, and we still have these challenges and these burdens that are coming along with all of these things that we have. Sometimes it's finances. Sometimes, even when we do make a substantial amount of money, we still find ourselves in financial disarray. And so you ask yourself, why am I in financial disarray when I'm making a 6-figure income? When I'm making not just $100,000 a year, but $300,000 a year, or $500,000 a year? because what we've done, we didn't balance everything out. We didn't make a decision that I will live below my means and I will allow myself to build up my finances and continue to work in a manner that will allow me to move forward. If I get in, it, it doesn't really matter how much money you make a lot of times. Some of the poorest people you will find are better managers of their money than some of the people who make six-figure income because they balance things out. And so they make sacrifices for their family, for their children while they're young, and they still find a way to put a little something away every week. And all of a sudden they get there, the kids are now grown, they're 18 years old, and maybe they've had three children. And so instead of this being 18 years of them doing this, this has now been 25 years because of the age difference of their children. So they put money away. And so they're now in a position because of the balance that they had in their family, because they helped their children to understand that at a certain age, we need you to be participating in this family unit. So you can get a part-time job. And so now everybody is contributing to the family unit. And so we're not seeing what Sister Soldier always say, the I mentality or the me mentality. We're now seeing a group family unit mentality so that all of us win instead of just one person win. So it is up to us. And this message is about all of us. It's about me because I didn't always get it right. And I still don't always get it right. I haven't found anybody yet that's perfect. Not yet. I'm still looking. I'm still looking. Henderson, are you perfect? Are you there yet?
I'm the dream maker.
You're the dream maker? Okay.
I make dreams come true.
All right. So you're gonna use your dream maker hat to help us create some perfection, or at least something better than what we have right now.
Right.
And that's important.
Yeah.
So I just kind of shared a few things. One, burdens. I'm sure you can share with us a little bit about the fact that there are going to be some burdens, or shall we say challenges, as we grow up and we go through life. You want to share a little bit about that?
Of course. The thing is, when you start anything, we're not born with a silver spoon. So when we don't have that money right there, it takes a grind. You got to grind. It's in and out. People are going to promise you, see what you're doing, and say, wait a minute, hold up. I think this will suit me better than them. And the next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute. I've been working on that for a year or two. Now they come out doing the same thing I'm doing.
Right.
But they didn't want to give me a leg up. And it all required is for us to work together.
Absolutely.
Nobody can get up a hill by themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's why Martin Luther King would say, if to be a street cleaner, it doesn't matter. Be the best street cleaner you can be. So when people walk on that street, they know that you was there. So that's what I do, even though, that's why when I beg you to come on and do your show, I can't do all the talking because I don't know everything. But I do know a lot of people that know more than me. And that's what makes the dream work, because it's teamwork. It's not I work or I got all the answers. It's that I bring people like you. You president of the NAACP in Virginia Beach. You have run for office. You already know the challenges. So when people are sitting there, hey, I'm this and I'm that. Well, if you're this and that, why are you still talking and not producing? Because our young people have to see leadership.
Absolutely.
Not seeing people
so on point,
bickering with each other. But they looking like, that's what you want me to be? That's who you want me to follow? I'm already doing that. Give me something else give me a better offer. because right now I ain't trying to listen to you.
Absolutely.
You know,
And you
but
make such excellent points. Our young people want options. And with those options, they have to be able to get that self determination, another principle of Kwanzaa, and stay with it. The one thing that I've learned about a number of groups is that when they sink their teeth into something, they stay with it, they have the tenacity to stay with it. Again, we learned that when the bus boycott happened, when the Black community decided that they were not going to ride the bus, they didn't say, well, I'm not going to ride the bus for a month, or I'm not going to ride the bus for 1 week. They made a decision and they said, I'm not going to ride this bus until things change. I am not going to ride this bus until I can sit anywhere I want on the bus. And so when we understand that we have to have tenacity, we have to have grit, we have to understand that we have to have the self determination that our forefathers had if we're going to make it to the other side. But if every time we see an opportunity, or every time we decide that we are going to do something, and we start and we stop and we start and we stop and we start and we stop and we never finish, the next person that come along with a similar idea, they're going to have to start from the beginning because you really didn't leave anything for them to move forward. It's, it's sort of like a relay race. Okay. A relay race is you take the baton and you run that first leg and you try to run it as fast as you can. But guess what? If you stop, if you stop and you don't pass the baton, guess what? You've already lost the race. I believe our guest has arrived.
yes.
Well, we are excited to welcome Alisha Mitchell. And Alisha Mitchell is with Elisa's Food, and she's been in business since January 2021. And she formerly worked with the late Stacy Corbin Williams of Angel's Food for 10 years. If any of you lived in Virginia Beach, any of you worked over at Clearfield Avenue, pretty much everybody that worked at Clearfield Avenue and all those buildings, they were headed over to Angel's Food on their lunch break. And so she started her business because she wanted to commemorate her mentor and bring back good comfort and quality food, along with her passion of serving the community with a diverse menu offerings. And because of Stacy and the legacy that she created, Alisha started her food restaurant, and she sort of named it in honor and to commemorate Angel's Food. And so she's located right here in Virginia Beach near Baxter and PrincessAnne Road. So we welcome Alisha Mitchell. Welcome. Glad to have you. I think you're on mute, so we can probably hear you even if we can't see you. If you unmute your phone, unmute your mic.
She got a phone muted. Her speaker is muted.
Yes, I was looking at the speaker is muted. So, anyway, Alisha is a business owner. And again, she worked for 10 years with Angel's Food. And like I said, if you're from Virginia Beach, many of you may have enjoyed Angel's Food. You may have gone by there on your lunch break and grabbed a to-go box back in the day. Unfortunately, Stacy did pass away. And so Alisha, being mentored by Stacy, has decided to bring back Angel's Food and the various menu offerings as a way of saying thank you. And so that's something that we don't do enough of. we have mentors that help us, guide us, direct us, and everything. And then when they're no longer there, and that doesn't necessarily mean that he passed away, it just means that sometimes things change, and we don't really honor them, or we don't commemorate them, we don't celebrate them. And so Alisha is trying to celebrate her mentor with her restaurant. So I'm going to try to text her and let her know that her mute button is on, and see if I can get her off mute so that she can talk to our audience today.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, I wanted her to share with the audience, like I said, the topic. Alisha, you're on mute.
I got
All right. Yay. Yay. Okay. We're so glad to have you today. And
thank you.
I was saying a lot of good things about you while you were on mute. We were trying to get you unmuted.
Thank you. Thank you. I heard everything.
Oh, well, great.
Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to let the audience know that you continue to celebrate the person that more or less brought you into the restaurant business. And I just want the audience to know that you're located, you're nearby, you're convenient. Yes, so tell us a little bit about Alisha's food.
Okay. Alisha's food is actually, it has a story behind English food. And being with Stacy for 10 years, that it's just that I miss her so much, and we have not had a soul food restaurant in Virginia Beach since Stacy passed away.
Right.
So I decided to bring something back here in the neighborhood. And even though Stacy's restaurant was soul food, I did my menu diverse. So every culture can eat the food. So on our menu, we do have comfort food, but we also do pizzas, Philly burgers. We do eggplants. We do pasta. So we do something for everyone to make everybody feel welcome.
Okay. Thank you for that. What I used to love at Sylvia, I want to say Sylvia's, because there was also Sylvia's for a while too. There was another restaurant here in Virginia Beach, and Sylvia ran, and I think it was called Sylvia's, but it may have been called something else. But it was another soul food restaurant here in Virginia Beach, off of Holland Road, as a matter of fact, as well.
Okay.
And at the same time, the Angels Food was around. And I know that you have kind of done some restructuring in terms of some of the food menu items. What I like about it is you talked about eggplant and things of that nature, and how important it is for us to get our vegetables, because a lot of times we don't want to get the vegetables that we need. And when we do, we want them filled with a lot of stuff that may not be as healthy as we need. So just kind of share with how you balance all of that, how you balance what your menu offerings will be, along with the time that you open in the morning and time that you close. So kind of share with the audience a little bit about that.
Okay. I arrived at my restaurant 7 o'clock in the morning, and I do not leave here until like 8 o'clock. All right. Our menu is for vegetables and dessert. I don't do sugar and I don't do salt. So basically, my food is balanced out because I don't do salt or sugar.
Okay.
And we use no pork for our vegetables unless they want to cater an order and they actually specify pork. But other than that, we do turkey bake or we do turkey neck, turkey drum, basically, or bake. Yes. So we basically try to keep everyone, because a lot of people are diabetic. They don't do sugar. We have a lot of people with high blood pressure. You can't use salt. And then we have a lot of people with allergies. So I have to be careful in the restaurant industry and make sure all my customers get satisfied.
Terrific. Again, this is a faith base month. So it's Imani, and I always like to remind people the principle of this month. And people will say, well, why are you talking to people about a restaurant? Well, guess what? You got to have a whole lot of faith to open up a restaurant, because there are a lot of different things that are involved in running a restaurant, from not only from the food, but from everything that's from the table setting to the cook to the servers. All of that is involved, as well as those who keep those dishes clean. So I want to repeat Imani again, because I think it's so important, especially in the business that you run. And Imani stands for faith, and it is the profound belief in and commitment to all that is of value to us as a family, as a community, as a people, and as a culture. And one of the things that we did when we were both enslaved and first came out of enslavement was cooking. Cooking was one of the key things. One of the things that we valued was the cooking. And so I tell people all the time that every principle of Kwanzaa is relatable to whatever part of our society or our community. So there's not one without the other. They're all interconnected. And with that being said, as a business owner, tell us how you kind of balance all of that, because again, you have to get up very early in the morning. And what time does your restaurant open?
My restaurant open at 11.
At 11.
11 to 7. Yes, so I actually have an assistant manager. Her name is Linda. She's in Thailand. Mm-hmm. So she makes homemade egg rolls and pancakes. Okay. Yes. So we got a diverse menu, and also my restaurant is 5,000 square foot. So we also have a VIP side, so you can rent it out for functions and parties. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. So we made it for everything. One-stop shop.
Wonderful. Well, to those of you who are listening to us today, you have another option. And one of the things I always like to tell people, when you listen to GA for Justice, I am here weekly to provide you a conversation for information, a conversation for correction, and a conversation for transformation. With that being said, hey, Mr. Murray. I see Calvin Murray has popped up here. And with that being said, it is critically important that we support our businesses in our community.
Yes, ma'am.
With all the churches that we have and the different groups within our churches, with all the organization that we have, this is an excellent place. Let's go out, and if we're having a small group event, let's go out and support Miss Alisha Mitchell and Elisa's Food, because when we support her and her business grow, guess what? You may have a child that needs a little part-time job and a little extra change. And if we're doing a lot of business with Elisa's Food, guess what? There's an opportunity. What I do on Thursdays is how we open up opportunities, how we share, how we work together, and how we come together on one accord for the good of our community. So with that being said,
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah, when you out the children, I'm always doers for hiring young youth because I actually have a young youth here and she's autism, and it's it's just amazing. You know, I am blessed and I thank God every day. I'm just I don't know. I'm just thankful.
And
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And so what ages do you hire for your young people?
Um 17 on up.
17 and up?
Yes. Because we have a car show next Saturday at Military Mall. And I'm going to be one of the vendors out there. So it's going to be very, very big. So anybody that want to volunteer, they're more than welcome.
And what do the volunteers have to do? If we have volunteers to support your event and support you, what are some of the things that you look for in your volunteers?
Basically, to help set up and maybe serve, and also getting donations for school supplies to give back to the children for school. Yeah, so after the car show, the following week, the donations going to be at my restaurant, and we're going to be passing them out for kids for school.
So the donations that you receive next Saturday or this Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Next
July
Saturday.
30th.
That will be the 30th?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to get those dates down because that can be very important when people are looking at things to do. So next Saturday, and what time are we looking at for this event?
We're looking at it. It's from 11 to 10 at night.
11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes.
And you'll have a booth there. You'll be serving food and
yes.
you'll be collecting items for back to school.
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear that, audience? We're going to have a place that you can begin to start giving some items for back to school. Again, this is the community coming together. This is how we change things. This is how we build a much better society. We can't rely on someone else, making things better for us. We have to not push anything away that others want to do, but we have to take the first step to ensure that things are better. And what I'm hearing from you is that you see a way to encourage our young people, to inspire our young people, to motivate our young people to do something. Volunteering, I think, is one of the greatest ways to learn what are the things that you don't want to do, or what are some things that you absolutely want to do. That's how I found out about the NAACP. I volunteered first, and then I found a love for serving in the civil rights community.
That is wonderful.
And so as we look at all of these various things that are going on throughout our community, and we look at the options and the opportunities, we cannot take any of this for granted because there is so much going on all over. And whenever we can do just one little thing to bring about a difference, that is so important. Now, you were mentioning that there was another event that's coming up, and you want to share that with us as well so we can announce it?
Yes. After July 30th, the car show, the following Saturday, which will be the 6th of August.
August 6th.
All the food supplies will be at my restaurant, and I will be passing them out from the restaurant.
So on August 6th, you're going to be giving away some of those things that you collected.
Yes.
On the 30th.
Yes.
And what are we looking at in terms of ages? Are we?
There's no.
All ages?
All ages.
So we're looking at elementary school, middle school, and high school.
High school.
And you mentioned that you have a room that can be rented for various events.
Yes.
And do we need to make reservations to come to your restaurant?
Yes.
So we do need to make reservations. Is that every day, or is that some of the time?
Some of the time.
Okay. So after I end the show today and I wanted to pop by your restaurant for afternoon lunch, that would be fine.
You're more than welcome.
Okay. But if I was doing a group, say for instance, my family was in town for family reunion or something along those lines, I would want to make a reservation, see if you are available, and come there and have and decide on the menu items, etc. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So you're quiet. I'm used to my guests. I'm used to my guests talking a little bit more.
It's basically, I'm not a real big talker. And basically, I have a senior citizen group in here right now, and I'm looking at the cameras and making sure they're taken care of.
Okay. Well, tell us about the senior citizen group. You know, you don't have to tell us who they are. Just tell us a little bit about the senior citizen group and all.
Yes, they actually came in here for lunch. They made reservations yesterday. It was a party of 12, but it ended up being a party of like 8 because the older gentleman didn't want to come. And they said they ate too much butter and jelly, so they have little issues. So, but I call them the Golden Girls.
You call them the Golden Girls?
The Golden Girls.
All right, and that's good, you know, and
Yes.
and so tell us about the support that you receive. And
I receive a lot of support from my cousin Sharon. She's with Community Funeral Home. Actually, my cousin Tracy, of course. You know, they go way beyond for me. Without them, oh God, I don't even know. And you know, I go out there and I advertise, but I only can do so much.
Right.
But everywhere I go, grocery stores, rec center, anywhere I'm advertising. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about some of the breakthroughs that you feel that you've had as a business owner. You've gone through your challenges or your burdens. You had to balance out how, you know, making sure that you have everything in place and all. So tell us about some of the breakthroughs. You may have started out and didn't seem like you were going to get enough customers or something, and all of a sudden you notice an increase in support throughout the community or what have you.
Okay. How can I put this on? 4 years ago, I was in an accident. So I could barely walk. And I was a truck driver for 20 years before that. So it ended my truck driving career. So as I was sitting at home, I started writing things down, you know, and I was watching the show one day, and for some reason, like I saw Stacy for Angel Food up there. And it's not like I saw it once, I saw it twice, and then the third time I thought I was like crazy. But I had to call her husband, and I took a snapshot of it, and he said it looked just like me and her. And he's been one of my biggest supporters. You know, he's I don't know if you remember back in the day, Mass Production.
Absolutely.
Song is Firecracker.
Mass Production.
Yes, he is. He was a drummer. Yes.
Come off of that mute, Henderson, and tell us a little bit, because I know Henderson was a DJ here in the local area, and he ran Picasso's for a while. So come on off that mute, Henderson.
Okay. Well, yeah, Tyrone Williams, originally from North, but I didn't know anything until Stacy had a birthday party for him and his brothers and sister. It was one sister, and I think it was 6 brothers, and they performed in the backyard. Oh, my star. It was just like, I can't even describe it. They were just like back in the day, and they just sound just like that album. It was just live.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to run across him, and he always said to me, Lisa, if you ever need anything, he said, you brought my wife restaurant, but she wanted more. She only seated 12. And I see the total like a little bit over 60 or better. And she wanted this. She wanted something bigger. And he said, out of all of her employees, he said that you was the one who learned something. And I took it to another level. And regardless of my accident, I could have been home and been set forever. I couldn't do it. I left the disability alone. And
he found her. He found Nash Production.
Shout out to Tyrone Williams.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Stacey's husband, shout out to Tyrone Williams. Absolutely.
And he still plays.
He still plays.
He plays for the church. They travel all over.
Okay.
Yeah. He's in the church. He just play the gospel music. You know, he's the pianist. So he's awesome.
Wow. That is.
He's going to be at the car shop.
He will be there for the car show.
Yes, he will be.
Henderson, you're definitely going to have to go by there and say hello.
Okay. And that's going to be at
Military Circle.
Military Circle. What day?
Side of the mall is going to be on? It's going to be close to the Virginia Beach side or on the other side near Glen Rock Road?
We have the whole mall.
Oh. Now it's going to be on the inside of the mall and
in the parking lot.
Outside.
Yeah, outside. We got the whole outside.
What day is that in time?
July 3rd, 11 a.m. till 10 p.m.
at night.
And then at nighttime, they're going to have the lights on the car. It'll be like the car show light. It's going to be remarkable. I'm looking forward.
Terrific.
Well, I wish Tyrone would get up there and just play firecrackers.
Right. I'm excited for you. And definitely, if you have not been to Alisha's Food, we do encourage you. We always encourage people to go out and support our Black-owned businesses. Part of the reason why I do this radio show is I believe that we have a responsibility to promote. And if we can go out and purchase at all of these other places and all of these other restaurants, then we can spend some money in our own restaurants. We can spend some money in our own stores. And again, Kwanzaa principles speak to that. They speak to cooperative economics. They speak to collective work and responsibility. It speaks to self-determination. Yeah. And it is up to us. It is up to us to follow these principles, rebuild our community, and strengthen the next generation and the generation that follows. Well, and Alisha, Alisha, I tell you, I really thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yeah. Thank you.
A little bit of a hiccup trying to get into the studio and all, but what we try to do is we recognize our guests and make sure that people know who they are. And we continue to do this week after week. And all we ask of you is to tell people about the radio show. Let them know.
I sure will.
Click on and listen. If they can't look, I tell people, I said, I know some of you guys are at work, so just go ahead and press the button, put the mute button on, let it play, and then later on come back and watch it when you're not at work. But that allows you to get the number of people listening and watching. So we can all do that wherever we are. Is we can press the button. Press the mute button. Hi, Tracy. Oh, she said, give the address of the restaurant and the phone number.
All right. 76 PrincessAnne Road, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23462. Alisha Foods.
Alisha Foods.
Yes.
And the phone number to call in
757 524 5672.
757-524 5672.
No, 5272.
5272. And the address again?
48 76 PrincessAnne Road.
PrincessAnne Road.
Virginia Beach. Virginia. 23462.
23462.
Yes.
Because you were breaking up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that back to the audience, just in case it wasn't clear, because you did break up a little bit. It is Alisha's Foods, ALISA''S Food at 4876 PrincessAnne Road in Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23462. And you can call 757-524-5272.
Yes.
All right. And please feel free to pick up the phone, give her a call, order the meal, come down and pick it up. She has to go. She has dine in. And do you use any of those other, DoorDash or any of those other types of?
Yes.
You do.
Uber Eats and Grubhub.
Uber Eats and Grubhub. So if you want to get some food from the restaurant and you can't make it there for whatever reason, just know that you can also use Uber Eats, Grubhub, and you can call it in and go down and pick it up, which is what I like to do. I like to call in my orders a lot of times and then just run down and pick it up, come back and sit down in my home and eat. Didn't do that when I was a lot younger, but now that I'm older, I enjoy the relaxation of eating at home by myself. Yeah. And another thing is, once COVID hit, I'm not overly anxious to eat in a lot of restaurants. I like the opportunity to be able to, have the type of food that I want to eat and the type of food that I truly enjoy, but then being able to go back and take my time, because I always feel bad when I'm sitting in a restaurant and I'm just taking my time eating. And these people are like, I sure wish they would hurry up and get up so I can get their seat.
You should never rush your customers. Never.
So I understand how that can be sometimes when you have clientele and there's this one person in your restaurant that just don't want to leave. And you're like, I sure could use that table. I really could use that table.
And that's why we made our restaurant more like home, because you can actually watch TV, Netflix, movies, what you want to do.
Right.
So we made it like home.
Well, we definitely appreciate you being on our show today. Tracy says, hello, great show.
So I said, I love her. Hello.
And do you have any closing comments?
You know what?
Home style eating.
Yes.
Home style. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Food for the soul.
food for the soul. Ladies and gentlemen, young people, you have heard from our special guest, Alisha Mitchell. Why am I having trouble with your name? That's what happens. Alisha Mitchell, and she's with Elisa's Food. And that's what kept confusing me because I kept calling you Lisa.
Everyone does.
Yes.
Everyone does.
Okay. And so we want to take advantage of it. Again, I'm going to repeat that phone number, 757-524-5272. The address is 4876 Princess Anne Road in Virginia Beach, Virginia, zip code 23462. And again, this is our show for today. We want to thank you so much for coming. Again, we're doing faith or Imani, and I'm going to do the other. All right, Henderson, help me out.
Wait, what are we going? What I need to do?
You know,
Nice hat, by the way.
I do both.
Nice hat. Nice hat, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the dream maker.
Yes, I always tell people what Imani means. So I'm going to do the other meaning, and that is to believe with all of our heart in our people and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. And I'm sure as a business owner, you've had struggles, but guess what? You came out victorious, and we are so proud of you. We want to salute you. We want to just motivate you to continue doing what you're doing. We appreciate the fact that you are helping our young people by providing them an opportunity for a work opportunity. And again, to the listening audience, support Black-owned businesses. They're going to hire your children before some of these other people do. And they're probably going to treat them a whole lot better. So again, this is GA for Justice. We do this show every single week, every Thursday from 12 noon to 1 o'clock. We have various guests from various places in our community. We don't try to pick certain people or, put ourselves above anybody. This is a community show. All are welcome. So again, this is Georgia Allen, GA for Justice. All month long, we're going to be talking the 7 principle of Kwanzaa, which is Imani or faith. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us today. Come on back next week. If you can't view us live, view us later. Thank you and have a great day.
All right. You've been watching and listening to GA for Justice with Georgia Allen and her guest. Georgia Allen was the former NAACP president of Virginia Beach. And don't forget to tune in and share this information with other people on your social media. Once again, every Thursday from 12 until 1, GA for Justice with Georgia Allen and guests. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you, Stacy. I still want to call her Stacy. Alisha.
Yeah. All right. Shutting it down. Bam.